morning. It's McCollum on Business coming to you live here, Robat TV at 7 a.m. Don't forget, we announced yesterday that the rest of the shows this week will be 7 a.m. before business shows here coming up for you today, Wednesday, and Thursday, of course. Friday, we will be dark here. As we're moving studios here coming up as well on Fridays. So that's the schedule for the week, and lots out there after yesterday's big sell-off on the market, of course, based around the tariff duties. This week, we do have NVIDIA reporting and other big companies reporting as well that we're kind of waiting on out there. But, of course, here in pre-market trading, we got some updates happening out there. Let's not delay at all. I'm Stephen McCollum. Let's get into the Market Watch. Well, it's the opposite of yesterday. The sell-off, at least here for pre-market trading, that starts, 6:30 Eastern time, 4:30 our time here in Arizona. Well, the futures is looking good here to open up the market here today. Dow Jones futures, well, they're up 102 points as of right now. The S&P futures are up just 4 points. So basically, they consider this basically an even movement here, right? Little change is what they consider this on the market. The NASDAQ futures are up 112 points right now. For it, even the Russell 2K up nominally here, 2 points, 3 points up as it just changed on us for that small cap index. The big news, of course, and that'll be our first story here coming up today. Bitcoin, look at that, 62,840 this morning. Been looking into it, trying to figure out what is happening with these cryptocurrencies. A lot of uncertainty out there in terms of the cryptos. And we're gonna start seeing companies liquidate and fail here coming up because of these prices. Something we'll have to keep an eye to here. Like I said, that'll be our first story here after we look at these stocks. But 62,827 right now for Bitcoin as well. Stocks that we're paying attention to early this morning. First one we're going to look at, Hims and Hers Health out there is what we're going to do. Of course, last time we talked about these guys. They were being sued by Novo Nordisk. Yesterday, they closed down 0.77% as well. And you see the gray on your right there if you're watching us here this morning. Well, that's pre-market trading there, down 7% here as well. They posted disappointing guidance. Obviously, they're getting sued by these big companies now with using their formulations. But Hims and Hers Health forecast first quarter revenue in the range of $600 to $625 million. This is a very disappointing because the expectation was $653 million is what the analysts were expecting out there. First quarter adjusted EBITDA, well, it's expected to come in the range of $35 to $55 million, also way below the estimates of $82 million for that number. So Hims and Hers Health getting squeezed in the health marketplace right now by the big companies, quite frankly, tired of them using their formulations. And it's showing there in the guidance for Hims and Hers Health, and down 7% here in pre-market trading right now. Then we got Advanced Micro Devices out there, a semiconductor maker that will get you more details on this story here during the program as well. But they're up 11% here in pre-market trading. It closed yesterday down 1.77%, but a big 11% upswing here in pre-market. It officially has inked a multi-year deal with Meta to lend up to 6 gigawatts of its graphics processing units, to the artificial intelligence data centers from Meta as well. The cost of the deal is unknown, but the company's agreement does include a performance-based warrant that could amount to 160 million of AMD shares, according to a statement that was put out there. And we got more details on this story coming up later on. But Meta making some big processor moves here lately. They signed a big deal with NVIDIA last week as well. So big news for AMD, 11% up here in pre-market trading. And then finally, Home Depot in this segment is the last stock we're going to look at. Down 1.38% yesterday at close. Up big here, about 3% here in pre-market trading for Home Depot. Well, they posted their fourth quarter adjusted earnings. It was $2.72 per share. Well, the expectation per share of earnings was $2.54, so blew that number out of the water. The revenues were $38.20 billion. Well, the expectation was only $38.12 billion for Walmart. What is amazing about Walmart hitting those numbers? Well, growth, obviously. Building has slowed down. Growth has slowed down. Their DIY sales have slowed down, even on the commercial side. Still hitting those expectation numbers and far exceeding them as well for Home Depot. Later on, when we come back and look at stocks in the pre-market trading era, we're going to look at Whirlpool. We're going to look at BWX Technologies. They're a supplier of nuclear components and fuel is what they do. And then another obscure company that most of us haven't heard of, Ultra Clean Holdings, is another one we're going to look at as well. They do semiconductor parts suppliers, what they do, all making waves here this morning in terms of the pre-market here in the market. So the market doesn't open till 7:30 coming up here. So in this time frame, it is the pre-market time frame for it. And look, you see the futures are basically even. Dow went up to 100 plus. Everything's kind of in that, nominal movement territories. We'll have to see where the market goes after yesterday's sell off, but you saw Bitcoin down again today as well. So some of these numbers I'm going to use here were just at the close of yesterday as the market, technically hasn't opened, even though Bitcoin's open 24/7. But this was another big decline for Bitcoin on Tuesday. So here's what's interesting with the cryptocurrency market, specifically Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is on course for the steepest monthly drop since the crypto industry suffered that huge crypto corporate collapses back in 2022. Are we going to see more collapses coming with some of these companies built around it? Companies that have billions of dollars into this cryptocurrency and specifically Bitcoin for a lot more than $62,000, right? Bitcoin fell as much as 2.9% yesterday. It got down to 62,701. It was hovering around that 63,000 number yesterday morning. Yesterday afternoon, it was in that 63 to 64 when we did our shows yesterday as well. But if you look at it from a whole perspective here, as we're ending up the month of February here this week, it's down more than 19% just in February alone. It's going to be the worst monthly performance since June of 2022 if it stays at this level and there's no rally coming. What happened in 2022? Could we see this happen again? That was the implosion of stablecoin project Terra USD. Well, that triggered a daisy chain of failures that included crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital, and BlockFi as well, the lender to all close up shop and go away out there and eat a lot of money as well. Bitcoin's on track for the fifth straight monthly decline, the longest losing streak since 2018 for the cryptocurrency. That's the danger with this level I've been telling you about here at McCollum on Business from what I understand from my readings. Some of these companies that have billions of dollars into this at 80,000, 90,000, $100,000. That's a big loss. Can they continue to function with this amount here as well? I was reading that there are some of the bigger companies in terms of the daisy chains, the crypto changes here. Their break even point was 80,000. We're 20,000 per Bitcoin below that level here as we continue on. So, do we have that historical guidance here coming the way? Is kind of what we're looking at here as it's down 19% here in February, folks. A huge drop for them. Here's an update for you on the Warner Brothers Discovery purchase as well. Well, Warner Brothers Discovery came out yesterday afternoon and said they did, in fact, receive a higher takeover offer from Paramount Skydance. They said they're going to review the new bid under the terms of its existing deal with Netflix. Don't forget, last week, Warner Brothers Discovery did announce that it would re-engage Paramount in deal talks. Kind of a last-ditch effort here. It's a 7-day waiver from Netflix is what they were given. Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix, well, they have that agreement to sell Warner Brothers Studios or Warner Brothers Discovery studio and streaming businesses to Netflix. The TV stuff would be spun off into its own company at that time as well. Paramount is seeking to buy the entirety of Warner Brothers Discovery. There'll be no split off there. So it'll be interesting to see. I predicted all along Netflix is going to have a hard time getting through the regulatory process, both here in America, but also in Europe. The number one streamer buying the number three streamer in HBO Max puts up some red flags out there. And then, of course, the streamers, Netflix, the number one streamer, buying a studio of Warner Brothers Discovery. That's also going to affect movie theaters and how they view movies and how they continue to operate as well. I think there's some regulatory issues there coming up. It's definitely in Europe. United States, I'm sure there'll be some as well, but I'm more confident in the Europe side. I think Paramount Skydance is a better company for them to enable with, and I think they're doing all they can to make sure that that does in fact happen here coming up as well. I think everybody kind of realizes that there. So we'll see what the deal is here with Paramount Skydance's new offer to Warner Brothers Discovery. And then finally, right here, the Meta AMD coordination, a signed deal we just talked about when we looked at AMD's stock here just a few minutes ago. Well, we know that they're entering into a multi year agreement that will see Meta purchase upwards of that 6 gigawatts worth of AI chips. In this, of course, Meta is doing this massive AI build out. Matter of fact, they're doing big data centers out there in the East Valley. I drive by it all the time on Ellsworth Road in Elliott. As part of this deal that was announced yesterday, AMD will issue Meta 160 million shares of common stock that will vest in a series of tranches if AMD does hit certain milestones. The first of which will hit when AMD ships its first 1 gigawatt of chips. So this is a big deal for AMD. Lots of revenue coming in and money coming in for AMD with this deal. Meta says it will also purchase a large additional CPUs, including AMD's Venice chip and its next generation Verano processor. CPUs are We're learning that CPUs are becoming an increasingly important component for AI data centers. Companies are looking towards running agentic AI services, focus on inference, or things like running models, things that models act more human-like, which needs those CPUs. Now, don't forget, Meta last week they also announced that they're going to do a separate deal than this AMD one. Last week they announced a multi-year agreement with Nvidia as well, who is a rival of AMD. And NVIDIA, well, it's going to provide Meta with millions of Blackwell and Rubin GPUs in that deal over there. Meta's agreement with AMD does come, of course, as Meta has announced and kind of taken their stock a little bit when they announced it, but they're going to spend at least $135 billion in capital expenditures throughout this year alone, 2026, all part of that AI expansion plans that Meta has that will pay for everything from data center construction, these chips here, but even up to training the models and getting them up to speed on that artificial intelligence side of things. So now Meta wasn't kidding when they said how much they want to spend this year in AI intelligence, that $136 billion. And we kind of see how it's playing out. Well, obviously, you need the GPUs and the chips out there, and whew, big money going involved there for Meta and AMD and Nvidia kind of being the beneficiaries of that as well. And the game Roblox. I know your kids do. If you don't play it, your kids probably definitely do. It's an interesting story because there's been a lot of speculation on Roblox and how it protects kids and to that effect, right? A lot of concerns about that. Well, now we're going to go over to California and the Los Angeles County. They filed a civil lawsuit against Roblox officially now. What they're alleging is that Roblox markets itself as a gaming experience for children, but they say that they've created a largely unsupervised online world. What they're saying is that it allows adults to mingle with minors with very little oversight there. So not even logging the chats and things is what this Los Angeles civil suit says. The lawsuit says that Roblox's architecture makes it easy for adults to masquerade as children in order to target them. The suit was filed last week, end of last week, and it asked that Roblox be ordered to pay a civil penalty of up to $2,500 for each violation of the unfair competition and false advertising laws. It also asked that Roblox cover the county's legal fees to be for the privilege to sue Roblox as well. Of course, Roblox did say in a statement that it disputes the county's claims. They said they would defend against it vigorously, was their wording. The company said safety does remain a top priority and takes swift action against anyone found to violate the safety rules of Roblox. So the lawsuit, if you want to get more specific, accuses directly Roblox of failing to implement safety measures. things like age verification. They say the default communications restrictions and effective reporting mechanisms are all an issue with that game. So I bring it up to you, parents out there with small children playing it. Regulate the chats of your kids and watch what's happening on there because there's a lot of complaints about this. Just another lawsuit coming that way as well for you parents to worry about the things we didn't have to worry about when we were kids out there, right? And I don't know if this is sad news or good news, but it is interesting. One, if you don't know, Lamborghini is owned by the Volkswagen Group, right? But number two, what does this say about the future of electric vehicles? Because Volkswagen Group, specifically Lamborghini, they pulling the plug on its upcoming luxury electric vehicle, EV. In an interview with the Sunday Times, the CEO confirmed the SUV-like EV, which is called Lanzador. This is the one we're talking about. They say will no longer join the Lamborghini lineup. The car was initially slated for a 2028 release. It's been pushed back numerous times for. They kept saying reasons like design reasons, etc. Turns out nobody wants one. That's what's happening. The consumer bases are not ready for anything, and especially this expensive of an electric vehicle as well. And they say that it'll be financially irresponsible for the company towards shareholders, customers, and the employees and their families if they continue on it to put this car out there as well. It's a sharp looking EV. I mean, you see it there on your screen. But for the money for an EV, I just don't know if it's worth that price, right? I don't think Lambos are worth it anyway, but I'm a little different than most people out there. So they say that the acceptance curve for pure EVs in Lamborghini's target market was flattening. And then they said not only is it flattening in the Lamborghini's target market, they're saying that the acceptance curve for EVs is basically zero, meaning nobody wants a Lamborghini EV out there, according to that company. So they had put a statement out to Yahoo Finance. Lamborghini said that it was fully prepared for the full electric. They say the market readiness within the segment has not yet aligned with this transition. Lamborghini said that the Lanzador will be replaced by a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, which is currently the powertrain of choice for its main vehicles. You know, that's the Urus SUV and the Tamario and Revulo supercars. They use the plug-in hybrid system. The next generation Urus, which is coming in 2029, it's going to remain a plug-in EV, despite originally being planned as another EV as well. So, plug-in hybrids, if you don't know, or EVs, now they're basically hybrids, but you can plug them in and get some battery power out of them. There's small batteries on it, and then so it runs on battery power and then gas. On when it's up to speed and things like that. So Lamborghini, another manufacturer, I think that's going to be the future of cars, more of a plug-in type hybrid or more of a hybrid system here coming up, more so than a full electric or a full gas vehicle. That's always been my thought that that's where the market for cars needs to go out there as well. And folks, this story next up scares me a little bit. Let's make our robots cute for acceptance. And then I'll add my editorial here before they strangle us all in our sleep. Right? Because we all know here in major cities, we have them here locally as well. The delivery robots are taking over sidewalks. But if you notice something about them, they bear facial expressions, and they have names as well. So some people that see him on the street, I had a friend a couple weeks ago that ordered DoorDash and one of these robots showed up. And they did a video on Facebook and it was all about how cute the robot is. This is amazing. Look how cute it is. Well, some people that see these robots on the street have reacted with affection and sympathy for the machines as they are just driving down the road. People, interesting enough, like through California with the rainstorms they had over the last couple of weeks, people were helping these robots navigate through debris, get them up on sidewalks during the flooding. People even push crosswalk buttons for them. Some people talk to them and say, "Hey, good luck on your journey of delivering your food, Tiger." Yeah, so people are feeling sympathetic to these robots. Well, these robots obviously are growing more common in households and public spaces. So what's happening? Well, tech developers realize something. and they're racing to figure out how to make them more appealing to us humans. Well, so that means designing robots to have cute, almost pet like appearances is what they are doing right now as well. In the past, if you've been around robots or manufacturing environments, robots have been confined to that factory environment. So technical expertise is needed to operate them. Nobody cared what they looked like in those settings. It was just big metal things working and soldering or doing whatever they do. But how is robots going to grow? Yeah, well, they need, according to researchers and people behind this, they have robots need to be geared towards human interaction, and they need to become more prevalent in everyday spaces, which means they need to be cuter and become pet-like. Yeah, so design choices such as larger heads, big eyes, the ability to make cute noises, all of which can evoke, of course, deeply seated biological responses in humans, folks. If you don't know the one that's most prevalent, and they are here in the valley as well, DoorDash, right? They're a large delivery service here in the United States. They created that delivery robot named Dot, and they put all this into play when they created Dot as well. Dot is an autonomous vehicle that runs off of AI and GPS. It launched in the fall, and it's built to navigate urban roads at speeds up to 25 miles an hour. It's also designed as a way that fosters human acceptance. You're being involved in a trial run if you get this robot when you order DoorDash, folks. The company built Dot to have round eyes and to be round, excuse me, because studies have shown that humans tend to prefer rounded elements over boxy square ones. It has those big circular eyes. Well, it's another key design feature because it looks in the direction that it plans to steer, and it makes eye contact with pedestrians to signal for them to cross. The robot also makes sounds to announce its arrival. Simply an alert to nearby humans in its presence on the sidewalk that it's coming up behind you as well. So make the robots cute, so we accept them. And then Terminator happens. Yikes! Hey, folks, that's a real thing, folks. Hey, when we come on back, we're going to talk some local stories as well. Lucid announced a 12% cut to its workforce in the United States. Does that include anybody down in Casa Grande? Well, we'll talk about that coming up. Of course, we'll look at stocks here in the pre-market trading. Market opens up here at 7:30 here, so we're just a few minutes away from that happening. We'll get you started your day here. McCollum on Business. Come on back, would you? And welcome back here to McCollum on Business Tuesday edition. Of course, Tuesdays is our morning show version of McCollum on Business. As we get you started here, we've been testing it out for a month and a half now, and great success here as well. And the rest of this week, we will be at 7 a.m. So Wednesday and Thursday, 7 a.m. business shows. Then on Friday, we will be dark. All programming will be dark here for our production stuff. as we are moving studios coming up here, and so we need to go dark to get everything moved out and set up at the new studio as well. Moving into a temporary place as we're working on some bigger plans coming up, or we just simply have outgrown the space. Thanks to you guys out there as well by following us, listening to us. With all of our production abilities out there. Of course, you just saw the commercial there for The Real Matrix. Fridays, 10 a.m. here at Robot TV. New episode comes up. And then noon, the podcast at The Real Matrix on your favorite podcast system comes out at noon. And then, of course, now and new on Rumble for The Real Matrix. For those of you that are on Rumble, it's a YouTube equivalent out there. It is full episodes there at Rumble as well. If you search The Real Matrix, or TME Media is the production company based on that as well. Search either of those or The Angry Patriot. It comes right up there on Rumble for you. That comes out at noon on Friday as well. 10 a.m. here at Robot TV. Of course, as soon as I'm done here, we put this up on demand, of course, on Robot TV, on the YouTube page as well of our production company. And we roll right into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. today. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrey. We get you updated on the sports world out there. Suns get back underway as well here with all of their injuries going on. We'll talk about that. Baseball, spring training's happening. Well, Baseball Classic's about to start. And the local legend, Bruce Cooper from Channel 12, all those years, 34 years or so at Channel 12, comes in and joins us every a week here as well for Bruce coming in today as well. So join us either live from 8 to 10 a.m. at Robot TV or on demand later in the day, Robot TV, the YouTube page, or at TME Sports Shows, the free podcast version of it as well, if you'd prefer to listen to the show. Of course, follow us at TME Sports Show as well. And then the Pit Stop, the Look Back show to Atlanta did get posted yesterday, both here at Robot TV on the YouTube page and the free podcast system. So at at the Pit Stop Talk is what you search for, or just search the Pit Stop with Steven. It'll pop right up for you on your favorite podcast system. Of course, it's on the YouTube page as well. There as well, follow me at the Pit Stop Talk on X, where we get you all your racing news during the week. And so Look Back show to Atlanta is up, where we just recap what happened at the Atlanta race. Of course, the Look Ahead show for COTA, Circuit of the Americas, first street course coming up. We'll do here Wednesday or Thursday this week and get that posted for you as well. But folks, all that being said, market opens up here at 7:30. Let's get into the futures here as we're getting closer to that opening with the Market Watch. Everything's in the green. Not a lot of changes here. Everything's just pretty much just even. Now you see some movement happening as the market's about to open. Dow Jones futures are up 17 points right now. The S&P 500 futures are down 11 points as we're speaking. You see how fast it's changing. The NASDAQ is up as well. It's up 70 points right now, 73 points for the futures of the NASDAQ. The Russell 2K, the small cap index, is down 5 points as we're looking at those futures right now as well. Then there's Bitcoin. Well, still down big today, but 62,000. Well, it's rotating between high 62 and low 63,000. Right now it's at 63,021. What will Bitcoin do today? 19% down, as we told you there at the top of the show there in that first story of the day. Yeah, yikes. It is down 19% so far here in February with several days left to go as well. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. First one, let's go to Whirlpool out there. You know them, the appliance maker. They finished the day down yesterday, 1.51%. And then they're down 8.6% here in pre-market trading as the market's getting ready to open. They announced they'll issue $800 million in common stock and depository shares. They say these proceeds will be used to pay off debt for the company and for strategic investments. Things like automation is what they're looking to do. Anytime you issue shares and things like that, your stock generally goes down. You're diluting your current shareholders by doing that. And so it's looked negatively out there that you need to do that. And so Whirlpool, and pre-market trading at least, down 8.6% right now. Then a company that I've never heard of before. I had to look them up, but they were making waves here in pre-market trading. So we need to talk about them. It's called BWX Technologies out there. Yeah, down 3.90% yesterday going into today as well. Is what we're looking at. You can see up here in pre market trading as well. They supply nuclear components and fuel out there, but they did report stronger than expected results for their fourth quarter. They issued a very good guidance for the current quarter as well. They posted earnings of $1.08 per share, which was substantially better than the 89 cents per share that was expected by the market. Revenue came in at $885.8 million dollars. The estimation was only $837.5 million dollars. That's why pre market trading, they're up 6% here in pre market trading based off of those revenue, not just revenue beats, revenue domination and earnings per share domination for them. Next up, we have Ultra Clean Holdings. We're going to look at this stock here next as well. Same thing. This is not a company I'm familiar with. A lot of us won't be. They're a semiconductor parts supplier when I looked them up earlier. They were down, or excuse me, they were up 3.82% yesterday, down more than 8% here today in pre market trading right now. They reported fourth quarter earnings in line with expectations and even a revenue beat. And they're down 8% here in pre market trading as well. Why? Well, both the earnings and revenue figures were smaller compared to the same quarter back in 2024. So even though they did hit the numbers and had a beats on both of them, well, they're down, smaller compared to the same quarter in 2024. So the market didn't like that. Down 8% here in pre market trading for this company, which is called Ultra Clean Holdings as well out there. So just because you have revenue beats doesn't mean your stock's going to go up. And we'll see what it does here as the market is officially open here at 7:33 in the morning. So we'll see what the market does here as the market does open. As we saw, futures were basically even for every index out there. See what it does here. One more quick look at it here as we go. If we get everything updated, I can at least tell you what it's doing because those charts there are a little bit delayed. Goes and yesterday we found out, and Lucid has a presence here. They're a Bay Area up there in Northern California company, but Lucid did announce a 12% cut to its United States workforce at the end of last week. And we were waiting for confirmation on what that means, right? Well, they're trying to, these cuts are trying to get this company to operate with greater efficiency and then deliver on their commitments to gross margin improvement and long term growth. So TechCrunch was the first to report these layoffs and everything as well. And they got it from a early morning memo to the staff last Friday is when it came out. So they did say that the company's hourly manufacturing workforce in Casa Grande down here, they said they would avoid cuts. So it doesn't sound like, at least on the manufacturing side, there aren't going to be any cuts here moving forward for this company, because that's obviously the concern here in Arizona. It doesn't mean any management levels. They said specifically hourly manufacturing workforce is safe down there in Casa Grande. It's Lucid has done a lot of layoffs here lately as well. They did 1,300, 400 worker layoffs over the last couple years as well. They finished 2024 with about 6,800 total employees, looking to cut that as well. They have buildings or presence in Saudi Arabia, lots of other states as well out there. So it looks at least the hourly workers in Casa Grande are going to be safe there for them. So just an update on the Lucid layoffs coming as well. And I mean, I get it. It's the job of the state's attorney to sue companies and sue things that are disadvantaged for the people of Arizona. But some of these lawsuits just kind of make you giggle a little bit out there. There's a legal battle here in Arizona about the mislabeling of hefty recycling bags. It's officially over with. The battle is over here as well. The Arizona's Attorney General, Chris Mays, did come out and say a settlement has happened in this lawsuit. 6 months after consumer fraud lawsuits were filed in three states, including Arizona, as we get this conclusion. The suit accuses Reynolds Consumer Products, which is the parent company of Hefty Bags. They accuse them of mislabeling their bags as recyclable. Attorney General Chris Mays also alleged that the product's misrepresentation cause shutdowns at recycling facilities because they get caught in the sorting equipment as well. The hefty owners there, they agreed to redesign the product's box and remove any references to the recyclable materials. The company will also pay upwards of $210,000 in fines, legal fees, and restitution in this settlement. The deal, which of course the company does admit no wrongdoing, it also does require Reynolds to recall or remove any of the existing boxes from the shelves. The lawsuit stems from years ago. Basically, Reynolds marketed the bags, and they actually labeled them as quote recycling bags themselves. Back then, they don't do it anymore, but they did it at one time. May said that that was deceptive because it induced environmentally conscious Arizonans to purchase them. And make no mistake about it, they probably charged them more for them as well. And from that perspective, uh, Mays did say that there were people who believed that the company was telling them who bought and used the bags that ended up in the landfill would basically biodegrade and things to that effect. The health conscious consumer out there as well. But we do know, as we said, they became entangled in the equipment used to sort recyclables, shutting down facilities, overcharging the consumer for bags that weren't recyclable. And now that lawsuit is over. And I say it's kind of funny because that's all the settlement you got. And you how much money did you spend on that? I get the mislabeling and things to that effect, but you know, some of them just make you look at it a little bit and be like, okay. Hey, the ADEQ. Pay attention to this if you want heavy duty vehicles out there. The Arizona Department of Environmental Quality is offering an incentive for organizations to purchase those heavy duty electric vehicles out there. This is quite the deal, also. ADEQ is launching a pilot program for heavy duty zero emissions vehicles. So those would be, like the 18 wheelers, for instance, that are electric, etc. You can see those. You can see some of those electric ones delivering food, of course, to grocery stores and things to that effect. And what they're doing is the department is offering $50,000 rebates to 20 eligible organizations that do purchase qualifying all battery electric heavy duty vehicles. Back in 2024, a bill in the state legislature granted ADEQ $1 million dollars for this project. Applications open March 3rd. They close June 15th. If a project does go well, meaning people buy these electric vehicles and get this rebate, ADEQ may consider expanding the opportunity to do it. So if you have an organization out there and you use big vehicles, need to upgrade your fleet, might get a little bit of a rebate here coming up, a sizable rebate coming up for buying those heavy duty electric vehicles as well. So, hey, baseball fans, we know spring training is going on. We know how integral baseball is here to the Valley as well. And we know it's been here for a long time as well, from way back when the Cubs first started coming here for spring training. Stories, of course, of baseball here in the Valley have been passed down through the years. Things like, Flame Deli, the first Arizona born major league player. Even then, to the stories of Japanese Americans playing baseball while being held at the Gila River War Relocation Center back in World War II as well. So you got those that far back history to just local history as well, newer history as well, and decades and decades of Arizona's baseball history out there. And how do you get that out there? How do you look at it? Well, there's now Arizona's first baseball museum has taken shape and is officially open as well over in Mesa. It's called the Arizona Baseball Museum. It opened February 21st. It's the first of its kind here in Arizona as well. It was created to share the history of the game in Arizona through photographs, memorabilia, alternating exhibitions, and also personal stories can occur there as well. According to multiple accounts, the earliest recorded mentions of baseball in Arizona date back to 1872. Who doesn't remember that? When military troops at Fort Whipple and Camp Halpi, ordered to protect settlers from the natives in the area, formed their own baseball club back then. The first official game was documented shortly after that, history of 1872. This museum will cover more than a century of monumental monuments in Arizona's baseball history. Things like post Civil War origins to the evolution of spring training here in Arizona. And then, of course, obviously, all the way up and to more recent events, things like the Diamondbacks World Championship in 2001 over in Mesa. Baseball Museum, folks, for you baseball fanatics. And even for those of you in town watching spring training and visiting from getting out of that snowstorm in the east and coming out here, get something else baseball wise to watch and go to here right before you hit up a spring training game as well out there. So, hey, folks, appreciate you joining us here this morning for McCollum on Business. Those of you who catch us live here at 7 o'clock, we see you guys out there. Of course, for those of you that catch us on demand at Robot as well, we appreciate you very much. If you catch us here on the YouTube channel, thank you as well. We're going to roll right into the main event here coming up live at 8 o'clock. So come and join us there for your sports entertainment as well with Bruce Cooper joining us here on this Tuesday. Don't forget, rest of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, 7 a.m. morning shows, business shows for you. Friday, we will be dark, but looking forward to spending the mornings with you here the next 2 days. And, of course, we'll be back on Monday at a normal time at 11 as we'll be getting in that new temporary studios that we're moving into. And we'll go to 11 on Monday just because we might need some troubleshooting time in the morning, depending how the move goes out there. So, folks, come and join us in the mornings here next couple days. We'll see you then. Have a great day. See you on Wednesday, everybody.